Hi, this is Ms. Baratko, and today we're going to begin setting up our interactive notebooks for 8th grade math class. So you'll notice that I'm on the very first page of my notebook, and I'm putting my name at the top as well as 8th grade math. We will do some of this in class. However, I want to make sure that you remember your very first page should have your name on it and the course. Then we're going to flip a couple of pages so that we can set up our notebooks a little easier. So I flipped my cover page, I flipped a second page, I flipped a third page, and I flipped a fourth page. Now this is the page where we're going to start actually taking our notes. What I've done is kind of slid a piece of computer paper behind that page so that my markers don't bleed through into my notebook. If you're using pencils or regular pens, you won't have to worry about that as much. But since I'm using the marker so that you can really see it really well, that's something that I do to prevent that. So let's get started with our foldable for today. We're talking about growth mindset in math. So you should have 3 pieces that we're going to secure into our notebook. The first is the background. So that's going to kind of go in the center of the page. You can tape it in from the top as well as the bottom. Make sure that's good and secure. And then we're going to work on our foldable pieces, or kind of our doors, I guess is the way that I can describe them. So I'm just folding along the dotted line and making sure that I have a good strong crease, because that little margin is going to be what is secured to our notebook. And then I kind of fold it back the other way to make sure that it will open and close really nicely, and I won't have to fix this at a later time. And then I'm getting my piece of tape a little longer than what the height of that tab is. And I'm putting it so that one edge of the tape is right up against that dotted line. There's a little extra on the top, a little extra on the bottom, and then I'm securing it to my notebook. You can also use glue. I find that over the course of the year, sometimes a glue stick will dry out and you'll start having pieces fall out of your notebook. So I'm using tape, but whatever you have on hand is great. We're going to do the same thing with the second part of our foldable, folding along the dotted line and going back and forth, and then securing it with a piece of tape. Now we're ready to take some notes on the fixed mindset and the growth mindset. So I'm going to have you decide what colors to use. I'm obviously using pink or fuchsia for my fixed mindset. And you see I'm putting a little sad face under fixed mindset. That's because students who have a fixed mindset have thoughts or say things like, I'm not good at math, or this is too hard. I don't know how, right? A fixed mindset doesn't always have to be negative, but it really describes somebody who does not believe that they can learn in the moment. So something else that someone with a fixed mindset might say is, I'm already good at math, right? I've already reached that point where, I'm good. People have told me I'm good, so why should I work harder? Some people might say, I can't, or I did enough. When there's an assignment or a test or a quiz, you show your work and you look at it and you say, well, that's enough. Or I don't want to ask for help. Moving on to the growth mindset part of our notes, I can flip open that second side. And we're going to try to counteract those ideas. So instead of saying I'm not good at math, we could say something along the lines of, I'm going to try my best. Instead of saying this is too hard, I could say this is a challenge, right? When something is hard, you're not really motivated to work on it. But if you think of it as a challenge, like a sports game or learning to play a new piece of music, that might be something that you decide to kind of take on. You could say, I need to go back to my strategies, instead of saying, I don't know. Your interactive notebook this year is going to have all the notes that you need for class up to date. So whenever you don't know something, there's a good chance it's already in your notebook. Instead of saying, I'm already good at math, think about how much more you're learning. Instead of I can't, you can say I'm working on it, I'm trying. Instead of saying I did enough, we could say, how can I make this better? Learning is one of those things that you can always improve on, you can always grow. And so if you're constantly thinking, how can I make it better, instead of what is the end result, you're going to really influence yourself to succeed. And instead of saying, I don't want to ask for help, I need to ask for help. It's really critical in math that when you are struggling, or when you have a question, or even just something that you don't remember from maybe a previous year, that you ask. The longer we wait, the harder it's going to be to catch up. I'm just adding quickly here underneath my foldable that help is not a four-letter word. And what that means is help is not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing to say. It's not a bad thing to need. And in class, I want you to seek out as much help as you possibly can whenever you need it. So now for the fun part. You are the owner of your interactive notebook. This is your place to keep your notes, to make sure that you add anything that's going to help you to remember your ideas, to study. So what I'm doing here is coloring in my brain. On the fixed mindset side, I only have a little bit of it colored, one color, just kind of representing the fact that I'm not going to change my brain, that my brain is the way it is and I can only learn so much. On the growth mindset, obviously, there's a lot more color, there's a lot more development, there's things that I can continuously improve on. So feel free to decorate your brain however you'd like and be able to explain to me why you did so. Here's the final shot of what your notebook should look like. You may have different colors, different textures. You might have added something around your notes. That's not a problem. Please don't forget that on the left side of your page, you should be completing those practice problems that were embedded in the video. Make sure you're writing your answers as well as entering them into the computer. It's going to help me check your work and make sure that you're right on track. Thanks. Have a good night.